And I've heard them called pasta rolls. I've heard them called cheese rolls, but I'm going to show you how I do the lasagna rolls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a fresh egg, and this was hatched on 9/23. Very fresh egg. And I'm going to add, this is 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. Now you can use less cheese if you want. We just like our Italian food really cheesy. I'm going to do a couple of shakes of the pink salt just to help it a little bit. And a little black pepper. And a little bit of garlic powder. Let's throw in some parsley. Okay, I'm going to mix all this together. Now this is something you can make ahead easily. And just put a lid on it, put foil over it, and pop it in your refrigerator. Like on a Saturday or something, and then you can pop it in your oven on Sunday. Make a big salad, a loaf of garlic bread, and you're good to go. You can also pre-make these and freeze them. I would say I wouldn't freeze them more than 6 months, but you could freeze them. Just thaw them out completely before you put them in the oven, otherwise you're going to have a long wait. Okay, so we got this all mixed up. And I've already ground my ground meat, put in onions, bell pepper, oregano, garlic, basil, salt. I've already seasoned it all up, and I'm using 93% lean organic ground beef. And you can usually find that at any of the superstores carry organic now. Use my cutting board here. I'm going to I pre-boiled all my lasagna rolls, and I'll get a good, use this right here, my assembly pan, and then we're going to roll them up. And I don't put them up, I put them sideways because the sauce has the ability to get in the pasta more. And so, but if you like to do them straight up and down, that's awesome. Do that. But I boiled all my pasta al dente, and then I put it in cold water to stop the cooking. And I don't put oil in my pasta water. I use butter because oil doesn't absorb in the pasta, but the butter really does. Despite what you might think, it does. So, and this is going to be a little messy, but definitely something you would want to make. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the ricotta into the beef so that it really thickens everything up, and it's easier to roll these out. This is a great stuffing for the pasta shells. I know a lot of people are intimidated by those pasta shells. You know, they look kind of like, how do I get the, or even manicotti, the pasta. People are intimidated by that pasta for some reason. They don't, it's not a normal thing you see people buy. And another way to make this more flavorful is to use ground pork and beef together. That's another way to make this really yummy. I didn't have ground pork on hand, but if you do, use it. You can also add pepperoni to this recipe, and it's really good. It's almost like pizza lasagna rolls. And I boiled the whole entire package. I don't know if I'm going to use the whole package, but if not, You can always layer them on top and then pour your sauce on top of them. Just another really a way to assemble, you know, your pasta. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I'm in the camera so you can see me. So I'm just gonna take a, you know, fork size like this. I'm not gonna put it all the way to the end. I think it's important to have enough to where, you know, you can roll it up. So, and they're gonna be slippery. Just keep all of your stuffing. If anything falls out, just put it in line like that. Stick that back in there. And then I'm going to put them over here in the pan. I'm going to lay them sideways like that. Okay. And I'll get some more. And if they're, you know, if they're a little bit too wet to handle, you can always, you know, dry them off. Just take a napkin, dry them off a little bit. So they're easier to handle. Put them in like that. And everything I'm working with is room temperature. It's not hot, okay? So just roll them in. And just keep them rolling like that. They shouldn't come undone on you, but okay, I'm gonna get these rolled up and the pan filled up, and we'll be back. Okay, I have all my lasagna rolls done, and I have enough for another pan, and I used 1 pound of ground meat, so plenty to make another pan. But I'm just going to take some marinara sauce, and I'm going to pour, not the whole jar, just pour over probably half the jar. And then I'm going to top it with mozzarella cheese. You're going to bake this at 375 for about 25 minutes. Roll out another pan of these lasagna rolls, and so I decided to turn the camera back on. I'm going to show you just a little different variation of the first one. We're going to do this the pizza version. So we have pizza all the time, and here, I mean, because you can't get any pizza delivery where we live, so I make pizza once a week. And if you want to see the pizza crust recipe or the pizzas that I make, just go through my video log, and they're all there in the video logs. I do everything from scratch. So I've got a little bit of pasta sauce left over, and I reuse jars all the time, so just because that's why I don't really like showing the labels, because I wash and clean the jars, and I just reuse them with my homemade sauces and things like that. So I'm gonna use I have 2 jars because I've opened them without knowing I already had one open, and I'm gonna take the pizza sauce and just pour it out over. You can make your own pizza sauce, or you can buy it for sure. Just try to find a pizza sauce with no fructose corn syrup in it. It's very hard to do, but you can find them. They're just look at your ingredients when you're shopping. That fructose corn syrup is really bad for you. So they put it in Karo syrup. That's what Karo syrup is really made out of. They put it in pancake syrup and things like that. But I just try to avoid that in tomato stuff. It's just really not good for you. Okay, so we're going to use all the the pizza sauce. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to pour in the marinara. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some pepperoni. I've got some pepperoni here, and I'm just going to take it and then slice it up a little bit, make little bites. I don't know if you can see that or not, probably. I have very little of it. So I'm just going to slice these up here on the cutting board. Just a little bite size, so they're not big hunks. But if you want to put, sliced pepperoni on top, that's great. Now, we like the pepperoni a little brown, or I wouldn't say burned, but a little crispy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cheese on top of the sauce here. Move this pepperoni out of the way a little bit. And we're just going to cover the top with mozzarella cheese. You can use fresh mozzarella on this as well. Even the mozzarella, the little mozzarella balls, you can use those. I buy those too. And just cover it with cheese. And then we're going to take the pepperoni and we're just going to sprinkle that on top. Because as it bakes, it's going to crisp up. My husband's a big pepperoni fan, so for sure, he's gonna like that pepperoni flavor in this lasagna. Okay, same instructions, 375 for 25 minutes. Make sure the cheese is all bubbling through. Everybody's oven's different, and I get a lot of questions like that in the comments. And my banana bread took longer to do, or my cake took longer to do. I don't know everybody's oven, and everybody's oven is going to work a little differently. So the temperature should be approximately 375, and for my oven, I have a convection oven, which is air circulates around. It takes about 25 minutes to thoroughly go through this. So anyway, I will get them both out of the oven, and I'll turn the camera back on, and we'll dish them up and see how they taste. This is the pepperoni one. This is the regular one. And I think my husband wants the pepperoni one, so I'm going to dish this one out. So we put our rolls sideways instead of up and down. So it's going to be really easy to know where to grab. I don't put a lot of pressure on the knife, and it'll tell you where they are. Okay. And I think you could probably gauge this at about probably 2 per person. So that's really good. All right. And if you want more cheese on top, feel free. Or we can take some shredded Parmigiano and top that. Okay, we're going to add some garlic toast and it's ready to be served. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I hope you'll try this dish for your family. It's very economical, goes a long way, and it's delicious. Everybody have a blessed day and find somebody to bless.